Good morning and welcome to Mind the Mind 19. The theme of our session today is gratitude. Wow. This past weeks, this past months, this past years have been amazing. I don't know about you, but I'm grateful for you. Yes, you who would be joining in this session, who would be watching the replay much later, and every single soul that is connected to Emotional Wellness Tribe. We honor you, we celebrate you. Thank you for coming with us this far. We would not have been able to do this without you. We appreciate you. And most importantly, I give glory and we give glory to God Almighty for making this day possible, for making all this fit. 19 whole episodes of Mind in Mind is not a joke. I'm grateful to God for His grace. I'm grateful to God for our sponsors, ABCD Education. I'm grateful to God for Dr. Mo Studios for coming through every time for us. I'm grateful to God for all our speakers, everyone who has graced, the mic, who has graced, being the guest on Mind. I'm grateful to everyone. God bless you. And so we kick off Mind 19 powerfully today, starting with sharing our slides. You're welcome if you're just joining in. We're grateful you're here. I'm going to start sharing the slides in a minute. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, please let me know in the comment section if you can see my slides. And just a moment. There we go. Okay. The transformative power of gratitude on mental health and well-being. That, for me, is like a testimony of my own journey as well. Because every single time that anything happens, this week I've been taking, time to post on social media the simplest things, very little things that I am personally grateful for. Today, I'm grateful for the grace to pause, the grace, to be able to reflect, the grace to be able to think back about my journey. And we should all do that because at every single time that we have the opportunity to pause and reflect about our life, about our journeys, whether things are going north or things are going south, or things are not going, maybe just not the way we planned it out, humanly speaking, we should know that we're still at the very center of how God has made it to be. And so the icebreaker for this morning is for us to take a moment to think about something you're thankful for. You can share it in the chat room. We're not going to have Padlet or sticky notes today, but please share it in the chat room. What are you grateful for? What exactly are you grateful for? Just take a moment. I'm not telling you to share something generic. I'm telling you to share from your deep well of gratitude. I have shared earlier how grateful I am for every single thing, that I've received. And for today, I am particularly grateful for the grace to be able to pause, the grace to be able to reflect on the things that I've received on this journey so far from God. So let's use the chat room. And even if you don't want to use the chat room, just make sure that wherever you are, seated, standing, at work, or joining from anywhere in the world, be sure that you're taking a moment to reflect and be grateful. What are you truly grateful for? What are you truly grateful for? I'll give you just 1 minute because most times we find ourselves stopping, or forgetting to breathe. You don't even know how much of breath you're holding because of the hustle and bustle of this world, because of so many things you've had to do. But this is your moment to say thank you, to be grateful, particularly to God and to everyone, every human being, that God has brought your way on this journey. Be grateful. Take your moment and be grateful. If you can share in the chat room, would appreciate it. Please share in the chat room and then we'll see it and read it much later. Right. Let's move forward. Why gratitude? I wrote here on this slide, it is the quality of being thankful and a readiness to show appreciation for gratitude. So there are two things there. The quality of being thankful is not enough, even though that's gratitude in its own way, but that readiness to show appreciation for kindness done to you. And we're not just talking, in reference to just being grateful to God. How ready have you been able to, how ready is your heart to show appreciation for the kindness and the good that you've received? It could be gratitude to your family, to your children, to your spouse, to your parents, to your siblings, to your loved ones, to your friends, to your associates at work, to your colleagues, to every single human that have come your way this far. How ready are you to show? So it's one thing for you to be grateful. Over the week, someone was sharing how they're grateful for A and B, for example. And then the other person mentioned that, oh, don't just be grateful here when the person is not there. Be ready to tell the person, that you're grateful. Don't say, oh, from afar, you're just grateful for so and so person. Be ready to show your appreciation or kindness, even if it's for you to slide into people's DMs, for you to send them a message, for you to do whatsoever you can do. Is not, in the enormosity of how you show it. It's not in the bigness. It's not in, it's not in the quantity of how you show it. It's just the thoughtfulness and the quality of your being grateful. And there are so many benefits. The benefit, the list is endless. It's not just limited to these 4 benefits on the screen. It strengthens relationships. It helps boost your mental health and resilience. Resilience is your staying power, ability to stay, ability to stay the course, ability to grind, ability to do that which you have said that you will do, ability to just stay, especially when you know this is the course, this is the way I should go. It may be hard, yes, it may be bumpy, yes, so as long as you're sure that's the course. Ability to just stay there. It may be about your career. It may not be so rosy right now. It may be about your finances. It may be about your marital journey. It may be about your health. Ability to just stay, whether on any good thing that you find your hands to do. And because that's what gratitude does. Gratitude is not just when you find some level of joy, when you find some level of joy or happiness. Gratitude is being grateful, regardless of whether you're joyful at that time or not, because that is what boosts your mental health and it enhances your satisfaction and your contentment out of life. And this in itself is the holistic view of your emotional well-being. When you're satisfied, I'm not talking about when you're complacent, when you're just ready to stay at point A, when you're supposed to go to point B. No, I'm talking about being truly content in the blessings that you've received. The science of gratitude. From research, I'm not going to bore you with different researches, but just this 4, just these 4 points, these 4 tiles that you can see on the screen talks about the positive impact of gratitude. That regular attitude by Emmons and McCullough, regular gratitude practice, regular practice of gratitude rather increases happiness levels by 25%. Just by regularly practicing gratitude. There are so many researches, that we may have as well, that may even, give you more boost, more increase. But it says regular gratitude practice, just by practicing gratitude, can just shoot you up there, shoot your joy level, shoot your happiness levels by 25%. How much more if you decide to make it like a daily practice? Stop and pause, stop and reflect as you do your work daily, as you drive, as you walk, or as you commute, whatever thing that your hands first do, just stop. Even as you sign that check, as you call that client, while you're waiting for the call to connect, just decide to be grateful. That would definitely give you, that level of happiness that you desire. How often do you practice gratitude? So we're back to our chat room, right? Is it daily? Is it weekly? Is it that you rarely do it or you never do it? Yeah, pop it in the chat room. Pop it in the chat room if you can. How often do you practice gratitude? Let me take a quick peek into our chat to see. All right. Thank you. Fumi says, I'm grateful for the season I am. Paul says, I'm grateful for supplies, good health, sound mind, comfort, safety. Great, great, awesome. All right. How often? That's the next question that you want to, put in the chat room. You want to put your answer. Do you practice your own gratitude? Do you practice it daily? Do you practice it weekly? Do you practice it rarely? Do you never practice it? Yeah, so this is not a judgment zone. If you found out that you have not really been practicing gratitude, okay, this is just an admonition for us to practice, gratitude. Just practice it and see how much, you know, you're going to turn around your happiness quotient around. Okay, so let's go back to our slides. Okay, just a moment. You're welcome if you're just joining in. We're grateful that you're here. Yes, you're the real deal, and that's why we're grateful for you. You're coming at a time where, gratitude these days, thankfulness these days, being appreciative seems fleeting. It means that, people may be really ungrateful, but you are coming and we're super grateful for you, at a time where the world may seem to be in chaos, but we must be grateful. This is an encouragement to us that we should be grateful. Gratitude in action, in real practice. There are simple ways to cultivate gratitude. You can do your gratitude journaling. You can write down 3 things, just like you see on the slide. Write down 3 things you're thankful for daily. Daily. It may seem like a lot, but if you look at your gratitude journal at the end of the day or at the end of the month, at the end of each year. So take, for instance, if you've been practicing gratitude from the very first day of this year, how would your journal be like? You alone would just be having a lone conference, by yourself with your journal, and you'll be amazed how much things you've been grateful for. It's okay if you're grateful for the same things, every day. But as you practice it, excuse me, you find out that you find new things to be grateful for, things that you do not even think to be grateful for before. You can do gratitude letters, to people in your life who have positively impacted you. You can be grateful by practicing mindfulness. Pause to acknowledge what's going on well in the moment. That's just the simple definition of what being mindful is about. When you're mindful of what's going well in the moment, right? You're mindful of the thing. So because most of the time, we find out that we're just focused, most times, right, on the things that are not working well. How about the things that have gone well? How about the things that are going on well? How about the things that look, it's not so there, but there are still, things that you have to be grateful for. There are things that you have to be grateful for, right? We're not going to do this breakout activity, but because, well, it may, take away part of our time. However, I want you to know it's something you can practice even at home with your children, with your spouse, with your family. You could practice it, over a what's it called? Like a team bonding exercise with your colleagues at work. You can practice it in small groups. You can practice it, by yourself, even at work, everywhere you find yourself. Just try as much as possible to also get, everyone around you to be grateful. That way, it will help propel you. You won't have an ungrateful fellow, right, on your team. When you do that, you would be able to spike their gratitude level to the point where everyone is truly and deeply grateful, because gratitude creates a ripple effect. Think about that picture in that line about gratitude creating a ripple effect, like a heart rhythm, right? Where your heart rhythm is going, that sinus rhythm, where your heart rhythm is going like that. Or put simply, think about ripple effect when you think about throwing just a little pebble into the stream or an ocean, or the fact that you may not even have maybe an ocean to throw a pebble into, right? Just throw something like an object into a bowl of water. You will see that ripple effect, and it goes round and round to make that water swell. Because at the end of the day, you see that swirling, effect. That's the ripple effect of gratitude, because gratitude in itself does not work alone. Gratitude is not a lone ranger. Gratitude brings along so many things, positive energy, so many, good tidings. It brings it along because if gratitude and worry are in the same room, they cannot coexist for long, because gratitude is a positive energy force, and it will definitely, definitely outweigh the gloom. So gratitude and gloom cannot coexist for long. It means that all you need to do is just throw that pebble of gratitude in whatever gloomy situation. You'll find that it creates that ripple effect. It may rock your boat a bit. You may be teary. You may find out that you have, a mix of different emotions. But in the end, it will bring you some level of peace and joy within you. And it helps to spread positivity in your relationships and communities. Everywhere we find ourselves, gratitude should spread positivity. If you find out that something negative is untoward, something negative is coming up from somewhere, check the gratitude jar in that place. It means that gratitude level is low. But once you inject gratitude everywhere you find yourself, if you find out that you're maybe within your relationships, I'm talking marital, your friendships, your relationship, parental relationships, try gratitude. Just inject a dose of gratitude. It's an instant boost of positivity, right? And it inspires acts of kindness. Once you're grateful, don't just keep complaining. Oh, this is what this person has done. Maybe it's about your children. So many things that you may not. Children would definitely be children. We know that. Yeah. You may not get the full blast of the best every time. But when you try as much as possible to inject gratitude into them, it will inspire acts of kindness. They will definitely do better. The same works for every human on this face of the earth. Even the most wicked, right, would not reject an act of kindness. Okay? Because gratitude inspires an act of kindness. It does not just show kindness, it inspires other people to show acts of kindness. It builds a culture of appreciation. It builds a culture of appreciation. We've grown up, or some of us are growing, right, in different cultures where it looks like gratitude is out the window, but it's not supposed to be. Gratitude should build that culture of appreciation within families, in workplaces, and in the entire society. Because going back to that first point on this slide, it creates a ripple effect. That ripple effect is the spread of positivity, is the inspiration of kindness, is the building of the culture of appreciation, in the global world where we belong. This is our home task, right? A gratitude jar. You may have heard about it before. In this jar, on this picture, it's a funny one, right? Because normally when you're doing your gratitude jar, you can put in pieces of papers, maybe you just write something that you're grateful for the day, you put it in there. Something you're grateful for the week, you put it in there. Something you're grateful for every time, maybe per second, per minute, you put it in there, and then later you get to open it. But the irony with this jar in this picture is that gratitude does not just, mean dumping what you're grateful for in a jar. It grows, it blooms, it flourishes. At the end of the day, it grows into something bigger than you. Just like this plant. Imagine that the gratitude plant that was planted in this was just a seed thrown into this flower pot with a jar. And then that just one seed has grown into this beautiful indoor plant that we can see. And at the end of the day, it not only gives, freshness in the atmosphere, it also brings joy. When the person who has planted that seed of gratitude can see their plants, their fruits blooming, it brings joy. It brings so much more, to the people around you. And that's what your gratitude jar, does to you every single time. It's not just about, you just dumping the reason for your gratitude and forgetting about it. Gratitude needs watering. It needs watering, because if you do not water it like this plant, it's going to die. You don't just dump gratitude and then come back in 1 week later and pick it up, or come back 1 year later and say, oh, this is the end of the year, and ceremoniously say thank God because, maybe some people, the last time you thank God, or the last time you were grateful to a human being that has helped you in one way or the other, or that has been instrumental to your progress, was the beginning of the year. And then ceremoniously, you also thank them at the end of the year. That is not good enough. Gratitude is like planting a seed. It needs watering. It needs every single love that you can put in there. It means that it's real work. Gratitude is not just the same as just thanking somebody and breezing out and forgetting what you have just done. No, gratitude is being deeply grateful, being deeply and deeply grateful. I'm going to let us type in the chat room how you fuel your own gratitude. For everyone who has shared that, oh, they've been grateful, by doing so and so. They are grateful every week, every month, every year. How do you fuel your own gratitude jar? Let's see it in the comment section, in the chat room. How do you fuel your jar of gratitude? It's okay, maybe if you're somewhere where you can't type right now, right? But how do you fuel your jar? How do you fuel your jar? How do you fuel it? How do you water it? How do you water your gratitude? Just take a deep moment to reflect. While you're reflecting on how you fuel your jar, and while you're thanking, being thankful to God or thankful to the humans around you, how you fuel your jar. I'm going to pause the slide quickly. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and then we can, have just a brief gratitude and mindfulness session. At this moment, just a brief gratitude and mindfulness session. We do not have, with the music that will be playing in the background, we do not have the copyrights to this. I just wanted to put that out there so that we would all know. Okay? We don't have copyrights to that music. However, we've been allowed to to use that music. Let me see if we can share the sound while we get into that, mindfulness session. Just a moment. Okay, just a moment. All right. Sound from here. If you can hear it, you can pop it in the chat room that you can hear it while we begin. You can also see from it. I like this particular, clip, this particular channel so much. You can also adopt it, with your, I like it. It's a piano, worship music session for meditation and for also prayers. It's not just because it's about prayer, because everyone prays. Like my pastor Mrs. would always say, everyone prays, everyone supports a cause. It depends on, what you support. It depends on what you pray to, right? So if at some point in time you find out that you're wondering how you fuel your gratitude jar, you can just tune in to your deep sense of praying. Tune in to your deep sense of spirituality. And I'm not talking just with respect to religion here. I'm talking to, that level of spirituality that you may have. Now we're reflecting, we're mindful as we listen to that sound and as we, take a peek at the screen. And every single thing that you may be grateful for. At every point in time when you feel like you don't know how to fuel your gratitude, this works. Listening to soulful music works. Listening to soulful, sounds. It just works every single time. You find out that you may be able to do much more, than what you thought you would not be able to do. You may be able to go extra mile in the things that you do. Find that strength as we meditate. If you decide to tune in maybe and close your eyes, it's fine. If you decide to not close your eyes, just make sure that you're not listening to the noise in your heart. You're not listening to the distractions around you. You're just tuning in to how grateful you've been, how grateful you are, how grateful you've decided that you will be. If you find a deficit in your gratitude jar, top it up. At every point in time, there's room for top up. If you find a deficit, if all that bothers you is how much of things are not working, you may need to re-strategize by just topping up your gratitude jar. Just top up your gratitude jar. Top it up. At this moment, you can find the time, find the space. If you want to scribble on your paper, maybe a name pops up in your mind, someone you need to be grateful for. Maybe someone who was instrumental in getting you your first, second, third, or most current job. Someone that got you to where you are, whether by a very tiny influence or by a massive influence. You may just want to be grateful. Take some time to think about someone who got you your first accommodation, someone who linked you up. Whether they are misbehaving or not, at this point, it may not matter, but just be grateful, right? Someone who got you mobility. Maybe you decided to move from point A to point B. You may have paid them for that service, yes. You may think, oh, that's been grateful enough. But be grateful that it took you to your destination, even if you paid them. For everyone who may have ordered a ride at some point in time, be grateful. that the ride you ordered was a true ride, not one that took you out of your own route and they made your journey sour. No, be grateful for every single person, that has been instrumental to you. At this point, if you're just joining, you're welcome. We're just taking time and soaking into this instrumental in this mindfulness session to be truly grateful. Being truly grateful is what we're doing right now. If you've never been grateful for your parents, this is the time to be grateful. If you've never been grateful for your spiritual leaders, for everyone that has some level of impact on your life, be truly grateful to them. If you've never been grateful for your children, born and yet unborn, be grateful. If you've never been grateful for everyone who has taught you, your teachers in school, in life, everyone who has taught you a lesson, either a bitter lesson or an interesting lesson or a sweet one. Be grateful for everyone who you've used as a ladder. I believe no human being is self-made. Everyone is a product of one teaching or the other, of one instruction or the other, of one level of guidance or the other. So be grateful. If you've not had the time to reflect, this right here is your time to reflect. Your time to be truly, truly, truly grateful. Be grateful. What are you grateful for this season? Is the 21st day of the month of December. That's the last month of 2024. If you've never been grateful, be grateful. Be grateful. People are counting down maybe 5 more sleeps or 4 more sleeps to Christmas. Maybe Christmas is not even what you're looking forward to. Still be grateful, right? For that grace to be able to stand at this point and be alive. Be truly, truly grateful for all that you are, for all that you think you're deficit of, for the things you think you have not received. I am grateful for a space like this that is healthy. It doesn't matter how many people, are in that space per time. What matters is that we're truly grateful together. Be grateful for every single lesson you've received. Be grateful that you're not on oxygen support. Be grateful, even if you're on oxygen support, for you to be able to get that oxygen at the time that you need it. That's one thing to be grateful for. Be grateful. You may have your checklist for the year. Maybe all yours have been checked. Maybe all yours may not have been checked. Be grateful for the grace to check it. The grace for you to even be aware that some of these things are not checked. That's one thing to be grateful for. That you have not lost your awareness of the things that you're supposed to be grateful for. Just being grateful together works a whole lot of magic. Much more than magic, not in the, sense of like maybe lack of faith, but it just works wonders, right? It works positive realities in your mind and in your heart. So I'm going to be counting down to about 10 before we stop sharing the music. So 10, you're grateful for your life. 9, be grateful for the relationships around you. the meaningful connections that you have. 8, be grateful for the family that you were birthed from. 7, be grateful for the gift of knowledge that you have. 6, be grateful for the wisdom that has brought you this far. 5, be grateful for the light in your heart that projects through your eyes to see the world. And even if the light is not projecting through your eyes, if you have one form of disability or the other, still be grateful for the inner life, inner eyes that you have. You are able to see the world through your inner lenses. Be grateful for all your senses that are working well. 3, be grateful for just the reason why you are able to breathe, because of the breath of God in your lungs. Be grateful. And if you've been holding your breath for a long time, this is the nicest place to take in a deep breath and exhale through your mouth. 2, you can take in that deep breath again. Exhale through your mouth. 1, be grateful for the grace to pause and reflect. We are truly, truly grateful for that grace to be able to pause and reflect. Welcome back to being grateful, right? And we're back to our slides. I'm going to be sharing the slides in a couple of minutes, and I'd like you to think deeply about just the mindfulness exercise that we've been through in relation to gratitude. How did that come alive for you? Feel free to share in the comment section before we move on swiftly back to our slides. At every point that you can share, feel free to share in the comments. We're going to be checking the chat in a moment. Good. By seeking to have the correct estimation of myself. Good. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that you can hear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then we're back to our slides. Please feel free to chat. Put it in the chat room. How did you feel with that mindfulness gratitude session? How did you feel with that session? Quickly from the chat room. We're getting back to this very slide where we are. Okay, Fumi says relaxing. Thank you, Fumi. Thank you very much. And I'm grateful that you are able to relax as well. Grateful to God for that, for you. Okay. Back to our gratitude jar. If you're just joining, this was where we were before we took that nice little detour to be grateful together. Find time, just to try out gratitude everywhere you go. Every time that you have to pause and reflect, be grateful that you're able to do that, right? And then you will see the difference in the energy, the positive energy around you, because gratitude and gloom cannot coexist for long. Okay? We've done the guided reflection. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. By this time, 2025, imagine yourself 1 year from now, right? Where would you be? You may not put that in the chat room. That's okay, right? But I need you to document it and be true to yourself. Imagine yourself 1 year from this point. What are the things you hope to be grateful for in 2025 December? What are the things you hope to be grateful for? Because they will happen, not just by happenstance, not by coincidence, but because your heart is truly connected and because God is waiting in 2025 already for us, right? Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Write your responses privately. That's the option we would choose, right? Write it privately. Don't worry about sharing it. Just make sure that you're writing it. These are our closing thoughts, right? Gratitude is a practice that fosters mental well-being. It is a practice. That word practice is the anchor on that line. Gratitude is not just something that happens once and that's it. No, it's a regular practice, something that should happen every day, every week, every single time. Practice it. Practice it. Just like you practice, the act of getting ready for your morning routine or your daily routine. Even subconsciously, if you're just put on autopilot, you know what your daily routine will be like, right? I'm not talking about days that some things would, maybe definitely interrupt, without some level of control. Yeah, but gratitude is a practice that fosters your mental well-being. And when we talk about your mental well-being, we're not talking about, oh, maybe the fact that you're not admitted in a psych ward. No, we're talking about you being whole, body, spirit, and soul. Because if you're aware of your emotions at every point in time, and you know what you need to do. For example, you know that at this point you need to pause and relax. At this point, what you need to do is to reflect. At this point, what you need to do is to call someone. At this point, what you need to do is to speak to a professional who will help you out of the negative thoughts that you found yourself. That in itself is fostering your mental well-being when you're aware enough to know the next thing to do. Yeah. So that's gratitude. It's a practice that fosters, that helps your mental well-being get better. Gratitude involves small acts of kindness that creates lasting positive impacts. It creates lasting positive impacts. Everywhere you turn, you should be grateful. Be grateful for your leaders, even if they're doing the right things or the wrong things, right? Be grateful for the grace to be able to even critique them the way we all do, right? Be grateful because if you do not feel that you have anything to be grateful for about the place that you're planted, about the place that you are at every point in time, there's no how you're going to get the, right fruits or the benefits from that place, okay? You need to be grateful. Be grateful. Be truly grateful, for every single thing that you have to do. Be grateful with all the small acts of gratitude around you because they create a ripple effect. It does not just stop there and it does not stop with you. Once you feel sad, you feel gloomy, you feel, you're just not sure of the emotion that you feel at that point. All you need to do is to be truly, truly grateful. Just be grateful for even being able to feel what you feel. That alone in itself is where gratitude lies. And on this note, please take note. We'll close with this quote by Melody Beattie. Gratitude makes sense of our past. It brings peace for today and creates a vision for tomorrow. I like that quote so much. It makes sense of your past. It brings some level of peace for today. It means that the day may not be as rosy as you deem or as you feel it should be, but it brings some level of peace and harmony to your heart for it. And it helps you to create a vision for tomorrow. Make sure we practice gratitude. That's an admonition for all of us. We can watch the replay on my YouTube channel at Olurunke Oluwalere. And you can please follow me on social media at Olurunke Oluwalere on all social media accounts. Thank you for joining today. And this is a wrap on Gratitude Mind to Mind 19. Thank you all for coming. Feel free to pop in your questions at this time. If you have any contribution, any words, whatever thing that you have at this point, feel free to pop it in the chat room. Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our slides. I'll be checking the chat room for a moment or two so that we can see the feedback as well. Feel free to send your feedback in the chat room at this point. Thank you everyone for joining. God bless you all so much. Have a wonderful Christmas and New Year celebration. And I'll see you in the next quarter on Mind the Mind 20. Stay tuned and follow me for more details. Thank you very much. To have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful Yuletide celebration. Bye, everyone. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Stop the recording now.